Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and if you needed another reminder as to some of the crazy things that these far-left extremist liberals are actually saying, yeah, don't worry, I've got you covered here. So there's a group called the Democracy Alliance. Far from just wanting democracy in this country, they held their annual conference earlier this week, and at that they were laying out some of the things that they would like to see the Democratic Party put in place when they resume leadership, because they're just under the assumption that the midterms in 2018, the presidential election in 2020, oh yeah, blue wave coming through, everything's going to be fine, completely disregarding the fact that Democrats haven't actually done anything for the American people and the American taxpayer in quite some time. The fact that they're not concerned about dinner table issues anymore and would rather play a bunch of games about how they care more about other countries' criminals than American citizens, you know, that kind of fun stuff that really just wins over the undecided voter. But anyways, these things that they were laying out that they wanted to see enacted in this country by the year 2022, so not too far down the road, one of those is that they wanted to see slavery reparations paid to African Americans in this country. Okay, hold on one second. Now, slavery was obviously a despicable practice. It never should have been the case in this country, and obviously we want to work to ensure it never becomes the policy in this country or doesn't go on in any other country ever again. I think we can all agree on that. But at the same time, slavery reparations, so you're going to say that African Americans who weren't alive at the time slavery was going on are entitled to money? How does that work? And white people who weren't alive at the time either, who weren't responsible for actually enslaving any individuals during this pre-Civil War practice, have to pay money? How does that work? Please explain that one to me, because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and I don't think it's going to make a lot of sense to these voters that you're trying to appeal to either, all the undecideds and independents. It is absolutely insane. I mean, they're trying to fight racism. They're the biggest racists. They're coming out here and actually trying to say white people need to be punished for being white, for sins that other people that look like them, something they cannot control, need to be punished, and African Americans are going to be rewarded for the way they look because people who look like them were neglected and put through a terrible practice, and this is something that was, more than a century and a half ago. That makes no sense whatsoever, but I guess it shouldn't be too big of a surprise, because look at some of the other things the Democracy Alliance wants. They also want Medicare for everybody. They want free college for everybody. I mean, these Bernie Sanders-esque talking points and practices, see, these are the kind of things that would get any voter, I don't care where you fall on the spectrum politically, any voter who has any fiscal common sense to go running for the hills. This is absolutely terrible. We are already over 21 trillion with a T, trillion dollars of debt. And this is what people think, oh yeah, this is how the Democrats get the rise back to power. Let's just go, oh, 21 trillion. Oh, I can beat 21 trillion. Hold my beer for a second. That's what they're trying to come out and do. This is never going to work. And that's, yeah, far from the only case of liberal hypocrisy we've seen this past week. So in the state of New York, the far-left radical governor, Andrew Cuomo, he actually came out and said that Republicans are running on an anti-immigrant platform. He called himself an illegal immigrant, which actually had an immigration advocacy group that's on the same side of the aisle as him come out and denounce what he said, say that he needs to issue an apology because he's not actually an illegal immigrant. But he comes out here and he says that Republicans are the party that are anti-immigration. Nobody, actually, you should probably check your facts the next time before you open your mouth, because you see, we are the party of immigration. We're the ones who are fighting your stupid practices that you and all your friends are trying to do of letting illegal immigrants jump legal immigrants in line and get to this country. The Republicans, we're the ones who are actually fighting for those people who are trying to come to this country legally, who are trying to do it right, who don't want to jump in line, who want to wait their turn, who want to fill out their paperwork, come to this country and be a productive part of our society. We are pro them. You are against them by saying all these line jumpers who don't care, that just want to be a collective burden on the American taxpayer. You advocate for them. So do not try and throw stones at us, because you are the ones who look bad in this case. But once again, now these liberals, they just do not seem to get it. So many instances of hypocrisy, and look, I'm not saying my party's perfect. Republicans, far from it. But at the same time, you look at what your alternative is out there. The alternative is these liberals, these far left radicals who keep going further and further and further to the left as time goes on. And that's your alternative? Let's go ahead and take a look at the facts here. And it seems like Republicans do a heck of a lot more for you Americans than Democrats do or ever will. So just keep that in mind when you head to the polls this November. And as always, thank you so much for a terrific week of the John Muir Show. We'll be back on Monday on WTAQ, WSAU, and WHBL. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you in just a few days. Until then, I'm out.